Welcome back to Financial Conference Delivered. Today we're going to talk a bit more about financial planning and the three phases of life you may be in that require kind of different levels of planning. So the first phase is accumulation. The second phase is kind of your income years, and the third phase is estate. So let's dig in. In phase one, accumulation phase, you're usually in this phase right up until you actually kind of hit that retirement button and get going into the next phase. So during that time, what we're doing is we're actually accumulating the funds that we will use for the income phase in retirement. So when we think about that, there's always pushes and pulls and stress and competition, if you will, for your dollar and all the phases. So in phase one, when you're in accumulation, there's almost some other phases in there as well. It's like, oh, I just got out of school, I've got my student loans to pay down, and I'm not making as much as I will later on in my career. So there's that phase, and then you meet someone, you maybe start a family, maybe buy a house. Well, what we've done now is added some more pressures into your life in terms of maybe education savings for your children, all the activities that they do, all those types of things that are really, really important. But there's competition for your dollars, right? When the pressures of my today are so big, how do I possibly save for retirement and things of that nature? And then finally, when you're kind of empty nesting or maybe a little closer to the end of your career, you're in your maximum savings years. And so that can also have different pressures. Now you're empty nesting, maybe your mortgage is paid off, or you're able to actually focus on that and also building up some more retirement capital. So that's one phase, the accumulation phase. The second phase is kind of retirement income phase. And this is then we start to think about how do we spend all that money that we've accumulated over time. And what I will say is that this can actually be a super hard time of life because you're no longer working and accumulating. So you have to make this switch in your brain that you are now going to spend that hard-earned money. And it can be really, really hard for some people. And that's also why having a plan for that section can be so important. We know from research that people who have these types of financial plans, they sleep better at night, they're less stressed about money and worrying about the markets because they have a plan. And so in retirement income planning, what we're figuring out is how do we balance income needs? How do we make sure that we're minimizing taxes or paying the right taxes at the right time? All those pieces so that your money you don't outlast your money. And then in estate planning, that's the phase kind of like when you're gone. And it's a fancy word for kind of like what's your legacy? Are you leaving money to somebody, to your kids, to your grandkids, or a cause or something of that nature? How do you want what you're leaving behind to get distributed and to who? Think of estate planning as that. That's also a time where we're trying to figure out how to make sure that the tax bill when you die isn't so big that there's nothing left for your heirs. And so those are the three phases, and you want to be very clear and do planning in all of them. And so that is what will give you some confidence, is if you have those pieces all together.